Hello, welcome to Veritas. I'm your host, Adam Colazetti, and I'm here to guide you on a meditative adventure like no other. Join me and lose yourself in your imagination as we travel the outer reaches of the cosmos, quest for powerful talismans, and explore the inner realm of your subconscious. What might you find along the way? But be warned, fair traveler, this path is not for the faint of heart. On this path, of one thing I am certain, dragons be here. Are you ready? So how we're going to begin is you're going to sit comfortably, however that means to you. It could be legs crossed, could be sitting in a chair, whatever it is, sit somewhere comfortably that you feel relaxed and comfortable. And you're going to close your eyes and you're going to take 3 deep breaths. Deep breath in, count to 4. Deep breath out, count to 4. And each time you exhale, you're going to try and relax your body a little bit further. So you're going to inhale, pause, exhale. Pause. So as you're doing this and you're relaxing, it's in those pauses between breaths where we're going to go. That is where your creativity meets your imagination, meets your subconscious. So let's see what awaits you in the spaces between breaths. It is a perfect day, in a way that only a day away from your everyday routine in life can be. The salty air and sound of the sails fluttering feels like a break. You know not where this path is going, but you're okay with that. To be on this path, on this ship, with these people is enough. It is not long before a guitar appears and the mystic begins to play. Soon the captain brings out the drums, while the fairy and the sprite dance to the delight of all on board. The wave runner and the craftsman compare cards and are deep in discussion, while the wolf and the wind whisperer lounge lazily, sharing stories of great battles. The light weaver and the navigator talk excitedly, gesturing to the sky. Unity sketches on a notepad, running her fingers over the letters inscribed on the deck boards, while the curious sorceress peers over her shoulder, asking questions. The shaman has all sorts of trinkets and jars poured out over the deck, while the healer takes turns sniffing and turning their nose at the various herbs and aromas, and the scholar asks pointed questions about each concoction. Music and laughter are the only sounds to carry on the wind today, but alas, it is a peace not meant to last. You are the wind whisperer, sitting casually against the rail, one leg splayed out in front of you. For you, the wind is like a living thing, an extra sense that can be heard if one is prepared to listen. You learned long ago to pay attention to even the smallest shift. Today, the wind idly dances around the ship, playfully blowing in your ears. But then, in the midst of a conversation, you sense it, a slight shift in direction, or perhaps a pause where there shouldn't have been. Immediately, you turn inward, ignoring your other 5 senses as you open your eyes and your heart to the wind. It's like 1,000 voices speaking to you at once. If only you knew which one to listen to. There, a warning. But it is too late. There are moments that seem to play out in slow motion afterwards, every detail frozen in time. This is just like that. Dancing, laughing, the captain stands and steps forward to join the dancers, and that's when it happens. A flash of light blinds you, followed by a loud bang. Confusion. You are lying on your back, nowhere near where you remember sitting last. As you sit up, there is pandemonium. A large gaping hole framed by splintering boards is all that remains where the captain was standing. There is fire. The ship is on fire. It spreads quickly from the splintered boards outwards, quickly separating the groups. A cry pierces your stunned immobility from the water. It is the captain. They have been flung overboard and are disappearing beneath the waves. Before you can even form a response, the craftsman is diving over the edge, even as Unity screams. Thunder. Above you, what was once a clear sky is now filling with black clouds. They seem to form out of nothing, with intent. Somebody or something does not want you here. On the sea, waves begin to roll, steadily increasing in size. Chaos. You are surrounded by a ring of fire. You cling to those closest to you, shouting to be heard. The ship dips as a wave the size of a house rolls past and water sprays over the deck, soaking you. And yet the fire remains undaunted. In fact, it almost seems to be laughing as it dances from panel to panel, and yet there is no smoke. You are the craftsman. The shock of the freezing cold water overwhelms your senses. For a brief moment, there is only sensation, but then you remember why you were here. The captain is here somewhere. Surfacing, you find yourself in a sea much different than the one you entered. What was once calm is now fuming with waves larger than houses. You spin around trying to orient yourself as you slowly realize that the ship is nowhere to be seen, and you begin to panic. But then, you stop. There is enough chaos here. Be calm. Be the calmest thing here, and just listen. You close your eyes and listen to what your senses are telling you. There. The captain is that way. With a breath, you dive down into the dark, eyes still shut, and then your hands grasp an arm and then a torso. You've got him. Heaving him to the surface, you kick and kick your legs until you breach the surface. The captain chokes and sputters, but remains still. There you stay cold and scared. But you learned long ago that endurance has nothing to do with the body, but only the cold focus of the mind. And so you wait for a miracle. You are the healer, back on the ship surrounded by fire. But where is the smoke? So much destruction, so much chaos. You close your eyes seeking calm. Focus. Feel the ship. It is hurting, but not so much its physical body, but its soul. This fire is feeding on the soul of the ship, not the wood. With a start, your eyes open. There is a way you know well that heals the soul. Quickly, you grab your drum and sit cross-legged amidst an inferno of flame. Those near you look in confusion. No time to explain. You begin to sing. At first a low hum, but then words. Beautiful words in the language of your soul. From my soul to yours, I sing of the ship, of its creation, of the hopes and dreams of its passengers, of many voyages and distant lands. You sing of hope and joy and love. You are unity. You are scared and frantic, but beside you the healer is singing. It is the most beautiful song you've ever heard. Without even realizing, you begin to sing as well, your voice adding to his. You are the fairy. Your heart is ablaze with love at the sound of two voices carrying over the flames. You can't see who is singing, but you know you need to sing too, and so you do. And one by one, voices join in. A second drum is found. Amidst the terror and power of the flames, we sing, and it is magic. Even as we are sprayed with waves crashing over the deck, we stand fast and sing. We sing of our hopes, our dreams, of why we are here. We sing of friendship and love, and for the first time the fire begins to falter. It even looks afraid, or frantic perhaps, even as the flames begin to recede. You are the sprite. Tears stream down your face and the music fills your soul. Before you know it, you are dancing. Amidst the storm and chaos, the flames are low enough now to lightly prance over, and so your dance takes you across the deck. Again and again you hop and spin, completely overcome with joy. And as you tag others, they too in turn stand and begin to dance and sing. A perfect unbridled expression of joy and love. And so it is that the flames recede, leaving peace. The waves themselves even begin to falter, and the skies open up, allowing a perfect beam of light to shine down on the ship, which miraculously sits on calm sea amidst a raging storm. It is as if the storm itself cries out in thunder and frustration, and then just as it came, it is gone. The ship is badly damaged. There is at least one hole in the hull and water is getting in. The main mast is cracked and leans, threatening to crack and come crashing down. But the soul of the ship, that is healed. The rest can be rebuilt. We have survived. A shout brings the attention to the starboard side. The craftsman waves frantically, captain in tow. A short time later, he sits on board the deck, a blanket wrapped around his shoulders. The captain is alive but unconscious. And beneath his robes, a bison horn, now scarred with burns of lightning strike, glows softly. Kyle Craik, welcome to Veritas. Thanks so much for coming on the show.
Yeah, thank you for having me here. I'm excited.
I'm pretty excited. Here at Veritas, we're here to talk about truth. Whose truth? Well, hopefully your truth. And we just listened to part 1 of this new series. It's about essentially a pirate ship going on an adventure. Before we get into it, though, let's draw a card and see what comes up.
All right. Go here.
All right. What does it say?
All right, Mouse. You're overlooking some important details, so pay closer attention to what's going on.
Okay. All right. The mouse is kind of a messenger as well, right? So, what'd you think so far?
I think it's a beautiful, creative story. I keep being drawn to this kind of analogy of life and the journey of what, especially in the very beginning, the journey of growing up is what really came to me. It's like seeing this world differently, right? Having these two different worlds and having to discover them, and then this ship arrives and it's like, oh, here's something to explore. This might be the key. But there's a lot of uncertainty around that, and yeah, just a lot of analogies in my own life coming up with the story. Yeah.
Well, cool. Well, that's pretty neat because it starts off. There's a bit of a nightmare. There's something going on that is not good, but then there's hope, right? And then the ship arrives, and then people feel this call to adventure, right? But most just kind of keep going, right?
Yeah.
But then a few stop and then board the ship, right? And then of course you go in there, and then suddenly I don't know, whether you're attacked or there's lightning or a storm comes out of nowhere, so there's panic and all this kind of stuff. But what I like about this story that's unique is it's not just one character. There's lots of characters. So were there any characters that you liked or didn't like or resonated with? What you've seen so far?
I kept finding myself imagining myself in first person, being stepping onto the ship and just being around all these other characters and kind of admire. But the thing that really stood out to me was the wind, actually, and this wind that kind of to me felt a lot like intuition, right? It's like the wind is calling, it's trying to say something, but you hear all these different whispers in the wind and trying to grasp onto, okay, what do I listen to and what do I do? And then that wind is also, having an impact on this chaos that's happening around it as well. Yeah.
Yeah, the wind whisperer is very in tune, right? The wind changes and they know right away, right? And they listen. I really like the healer kind of senses that something is amiss with this fire, right?
Yeah.
It's not regular fire. It's like a pain in the soul or something, right? And of course, then the music and the dance and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that part really resonated as well when you started reading about the healer and this ability to be in tune with something's different here. It's not the wood, it's the soul. And then finding a way to kind of manipulate that soul in a sense, and not just that, but then create this connection among all the other characters and kind of lead the way. Yeah.
And then, when I think of the craftsman, right, dives over the ship. First one, doesn't think twice, just dives over. And you meet people like that, right? Those are people in our lives that are protectors or that kind of stuff. So it's like that. For me, it's that part of you that doesn't think twice, right?
Yeah.
It's just there when you need them, and that's the end of it.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So, as we kind of explored these different characters and the ship, were there people in your life other than yourself that it came to mind at all?
Yeah, a little bit. I found myself thinking of it in a business sense a lot, actually. I found a lot of relatability in this kind of entrepreneurial world of taking chances and trying to explore your creativity. And sometimes you jump right into the storm and you have that call, or you see somebody in need and you dive right in. You want to be the helper, the healer. But I mean, it also relates back to even personal relationships as well, right? Are you willing to jump in for that person? Are you willing to put yourself at risk? Or do you need to kind of have a little bit more of get a little bit more in tune with yourself and figure things out, trying to figure out where the issue's coming from. So yeah, a lot of different things popping up for me is in personal life and relationships, family, friends, all that kind of stuff.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, I have this idea in my head, right? Like, I don't think, like, you listen to the story and you want to be the person that gets on the ship, right? But these things happen to us all the time in our lives, these opportunities that are a little bit scary, right? Or have a lot of uncertainty around them or whatever, right?
Well, and it's interesting that you kind of find your people in that sense of, like, maybe you see somebody stepping on the ship, maybe it's somebody that you admire, or maybe it's somebody who you find, it's like this bravery. It's like one person steps on first, and there's this bravery that maybe then says something in you that, oh, if they can do it, I can do it, right? Or you give yourself permission because you've seen somebody else take that step first. Or maybe you're the person in your life that's taking that step first to show that bravery for somebody else.
Right.
So that kind of came up for me.
Yeah. Cool. All right. I love it. Some big thoughts for chapter 1.
Yeah.
Well, stay tuned. We're going to get more into it now. Join me each week as a new chapter unfolds. What worlds will we explore next? What gods and monsters will we find? What part of yourself will awaken? Only one way to find out.